Payton S. Gendron was born on June 20, 2003, in Conklin, New York. His parents, Paul and Pamela Gendron, both work in engineering positions for the New York Department of Transportation. After graduating from Susquehanna Valley High School, Payton attended SUNY Broome Community College in Binghamton, where he was part of the engineering science program. According to his classmates, he was a quiet person who rarely participated in in-person classes and exhibited unusual behaviors, like attending class in a hazmat suit. The police have stated that Gendron was in Buffalo in early March, and they believe he was present there the day before the shooting occurred. He had reportedly scouted the Top supermarket beforehand. In their investigation, police found that he had researched prior hate-driven attacks and shootings. A childhood friend of Gendron's disclosed that the day before the shooting, Gendron had visited his home and left him with 5 boxes of ammunition, stating that he was rearranging his house and would come back for the ammunition later. In June 2021, the Broome County Police investigated Gendron for allegedly making threats against fellow students at his high school. When students were asked for a school project about their plans after graduation, Gendron said he wanted to commit a murder-suicide. He claimed that his response was a joke, but the state police were still brought in to investigate the matter. He was taken into custody under a state mental health law and had a psychiatric evaluation in a hospital, but was released within a couple of days and fell off investigators' radar. He was not charged in relation to the incident, as the investigators believed that his threat was not specific enough to require further actions. The New York State Police did not pursue a court order to confiscate Gendron's guns. Additionally, his mental health evaluation was not classified as an involuntary commitment, which, under federal law, would have prevented him from legally purchasing firearms. Gendron is also said to have had a Discord chat platform account, using the same username as the Twitch user, who later broadcasted the shooting live. Thousands of chat logs were obtained from this account's posts in a private chat room, written like an online diary from November 2021 to May 13, 2022. These logs contain pictures of Gendron, and the writer claimed to be Gendron. Also included in the chat logs are items from a to-do list in preparation for the planned attack. The chat records indicate that the attack was initially scheduled for March 15th, coinciding with the anniversary of the Christchurch mosque shootings. However, the plan was postponed because the author contracted COVID-19. Evidence from as early as November 2021 in the logs reveals that he intended to live stream a mass shooting targeting black people. He also asserted that he was the author of a 4chan post from November 9th, 2021, that stated, "A Brenton Tarrant event will happen again soon." In the online diary, there were sketches of the interior layout of the Top supermarket. The author mentioned visiting the supermarket on March 8th, during which he was confronted by a security guard, describing it as a near miss. During his visits, he observed and recorded the numbers of black and white people in the supermarket. The author contemplated attacking various sites, including a Walmart in Rochester, New York, but ultimately settled on targeting the Top supermarket in Buffalo. He also considered other potential targets such as churches, malls, and elementary schools predominantly attended by black children. He contemplated attacking synagogues but decided against it, as March 15th was not a Saturday, the Jewish Sabbath. He mentioned using Google data to determine the busiest hours at the supermarket. The writer of the online diary characterized himself as socially isolated. He stated, "I would like to say I had quite a normal childhood, but that is not the case." He also said, "It's not that I actually dislike other people. It's just that they make me feel so uncomfortable. I've probably spent actual years of my life just being online. And to be honest, I regret it. I didn't go to friends' houses often or go to any parties or whatever. Every day after school, I would just go home and play games and watch YouTube, mostly by myself." In a different entry, he went on to note, "If I could go back, maybe I'd tell myself to get the fuck off 4chan and get an actual life." In certain portions of the chat logs, the author details the killing and mutilation of a cat. The chat records also sporadically contain the author's suicidal thoughts and self-doubt. He mentioned spending 20 hours in the emergency room of a hospital after revealing his plan to carry out a murder-suicide, describing the hospital stay as an extremely negative experience that motivated him to take action. Photographs were posted showing off changes he made to his Bushmaster XM15 AR-15 style rifle so that it could hold 30-round magazines, even though he recognized that this was illegal in New York State, where the limit is 10 rounds. He traveled from his residence in New York to Pennsylvania to acquire the 30-round ammunition magazines. He also provided details regarding the acquisition of other equipment for the planned attack, like a helmet and body armor. The weapon used in the shooting was purchased from a vintage gun store near Gendron's hometown, just months after police took Gendron into custody after making the shooting threat in school. The owner of Vintage Firearms confirmed that he had run a background check on Payton Gendron, but that the report showed no red flags. The timing of the gun purchase, along with the owner's report of a clean background check, raises questions about why a police-ordered mental health evaluation would not have appeared on the report. Written on his rifle were multiple racial slurs and references to reparations for slavery, the names of white supremacist mass murderers such as Dylan Roof and Brenton Tarrant, the year 2083, a reference to the Manifesto of Anders Behring Breivik, names of one or more victims of the Waukesha Christmas Parade attack, the Archangel Michael's Cross of the fascist Romanian Iron Guard, far-right slang, and the acronym SIGAUN, Stop Your Genocide Against Our White Nations. Gendron is said to have authored a 180-page manifesto, primarily addressing the issue of mass immigration, which he released before carrying out the shooting. The document was first posted on Google Docs during the evening of May 12th, 2 days ahead of the attack, and the file data showed it hadn't been altered since. The manifesto includes personal information, such as a birth date, matching Gendron's, and it primarily supports the white nationalist and far-right conspiracy theory known as the Great Replacement by Renaud Camus, alleging that elites are intentionally promoting immigration and lowering white birth rates with the aim of subjecting white people to genocide. The manifesto also accuses Jews and elites of being behind transgender inclusivity and non-white immigration, claims that black individuals are disproportionately responsible for the deaths of white people, and contends that non-whites will eventually dominate and eliminate the white race. Buffalo was chosen as the target for the attack due to its high black population and proximity to the shooter's residence. He then chose the Buffalo zip code area with the highest proportion of black residents. The manifesto elaborates on the steps taken in preparation for the shooting and includes a strategy to venture into a majority black neighborhood in Buffalo for further attacks after the initial supermarket attack. On May 14, 2022, Gendron drove nearly 200 miles to arrive at the Tops supermarket, located on Jefferson Avenue, within a predominantly black neighborhood in Buffalo. He was very heavily armed. He wore tactical gear, a tactical helmet with a head-mounted camera which was used to live-stream the attack on Twitch, and had 3 guns with him, his Bushmaster XM15 AR-15, a Mossberg 500 shotgun, and a Savage Arms Axis XP hunting rifle. At 2:31 p.m., Gendron opened fire in the parking lot, shooting 4 people outside of the grocery store, 3 fatally. He proceeded to enter the store where he continued shooting. While inside the store, he was shot at by Aaron Salter Jr., an armed security guard who was a retired Buffalo police officer. Aaron's bullets were stopped by Gendron's body armor, and he then returned fire, shooting Aaron dead. Many employees and customers sought shelter from the shooter in the store's break room, blocking the door with a heavy desk. Meanwhile, other customers were hidden in the milk cooler by employees, who said that the shooter took shots through the coolers, but the bullets were stopped by the milk cartons. It was reported that Gendron yelled racial slurs during the shooting, and at one point he pointed his gun at a white person hiding behind a checkout counter, but chose not to shoot and yelled out an apology with the word, "sorry." At approximately 2:36 p.m., Gendron had made his way to the building's entrance, where he was arrested after patrol officers managed to convince him to put down his gun after he allegedly aimed it at himself.
A lot of people up in there. Oh my God. Yo, he shot a lot of people in there. Oh my God. Wow.
He a terrorist or something?
Yo, he gotta be a terrorist. Oh my God, he shot so many people in there. Wow. Yo. Wow.
Throughout the shooting, 60 shots were fired in total, resulting in 13 people being shot, and 10 of them dying. All 10 of those killed in the shooting were black. Following his arrest, Gendron made disturbing statements describing his motive and state of mind, which were clear and filled with hate toward the black community. Gendron was arraigned in Erie County Court on June 2, 2022, and pleaded not guilty to all charges, including 1 count of domestic terrorism motivated by hate, 10 counts of first-degree murder as a hate crime, 10 counts of second-degree murder as a hate crime, 3 counts of attempted second-degree murder as a hate crime, and 1 count of second-degree criminal possession of a weapon. On June 15th, Gendron was charged with 26 counts of federal hate crimes and also additional gun charges. He faces the possibility of the death penalty if convicted. On November 28th, he entered a guilty plea to 15 charges at the state level, 10 counts of first-degree murder, 3 counts of hate-motivated attempted murder, criminal possession of a weapon, and hate-motivated domestic terrorism. On February 15, 2023, Payton Gendron was sentenced to 10 life sentences to run concurrently, with no possibility of parole. At the sentencing, he was seen weeping as relatives of those who lost their loved ones delivered their remarks. Gendron would give a statement as well, apologizing to the victims' families and expressing regret for his actions.
I'm very sorry for all the pain I forced the victims and their families to suffer through. I'm very sorry for stealing the lives of your loved ones. I cannot express how much I regret all the decisions I made leading up to my actions on May 14th. I did a terrible thing that day. I shot and killed people because they were black. Looking back now, I can't believe I actually did it. I believed what I read online and acted out of hate. I know I can't take it back, but I wish I could. And I don't want anyone to be inspired by me and what I did.
His legal team said it will not appeal the ruling. At the time of this recording, Gendron's federal charges are still ongoing. His lawyer indicated that he would be willing to plead guilty in order to avoid receiving the death penalty.